Well, guys, it's no secret that the world right now is filled with looter shooters, and we're adding another one into the mix with the First Descendant. Corey, you and I got to check it out. We're at Summer Game Fest. Yep. I've checked it out numerous times with among one other beta after another, and then now it's the full game. It is out. We've been in it. I am somewhere around the 10 to 12 hour mark now, and I've been grinding away. And yo, it is a grind. Here's the catch, though. It's free to play. Right? So I kind of almost appreciate the grind, but there's also a lot of gripes when it comes to the game. For me, I'm gonna wrap up real quick already with an 8. Ooh. I'm on the fence, right? Because I got a couple of issues. I almost gave it an 8.5, but the microtransactions are so horrible that I can't. And that's what really pulls my score down. Corey, what do you score in the First Descendant?
I was juggling with this one all day, guys, because I knew this review was coming up, and it's been tough for me because there's a lot of things I've enjoyed about this game, and there's some things that I've not enjoyed as much. But at the same time, I'm having a blast playing this game. I'm enjoying the grind. Like you said, Drew, it's a free-to-play game, so I'm at an 8 as well. Yeah. Steve, what are you going to give it?
I'm actually giving the First Descendant an 8. I did play the very early beta when it was on Steam, and I really enjoyed it. So it's good to sort of see how some bits have changed. But like you said, I had slight issues myself with the amount of time that I played into this as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right, so let's dive in. The story, you guys care? Straight up. Steve, you care about the story?
Do you know what? I did at the very, very beginning with all the cutscenes. It kind of got me until you actually get to the Albion hub. Then after that, it kind of just... I didn't know what the story was in the end, basically.
Which is fair. Corey, you care about the story?
I'm right there with Steve as well. You kind of get into the cutscenes at the beginning, kind of lead into what this world is all about and what we're facing, as the Descendants. Yeah. But at the same time, it almost seems a little watered down, especially when you get into the hub world of Albion and you start to talk to. There's a lot of people to talk to. There's a lot of things to interact with. It kind of all gets thrown at you right at the beginning. It's a little overwhelming almost. Without the markers, you wouldn't know where to go. But as soon as you get into the conversations with people, it just doesn't feel like there's a whole lot of weight to this story. Like, I don't know, it doesn't feel like there's enough at stake for the world that we're currently in, and it felt a little weak to me. So I'm right there with Steve, where once we got into the hub world, I just kind of lost it, pretty much most of the interest in what the story was. I'll keep tabs on it, but it's not the forefront of why I'm playing this one right now.
Right, where I hit a point where it's like, yo, the story clicked.
Okay.
I got hooked. The story kind of, as it progresses further on. Now, granted, right, I took to that 10-hour mark for me to actually hit that point within the story. Here's the thing, though. I've been going back and grinding with my brother. I've been going back grinding with our friend Kyle. So, my extended playtime versus story time is a little bit different than I think a lot of people, if you're just focused on the story. Where I've been kind of diving in here, there, and bouncing around, and then going out to grind and then into the story. The story is actually really, really cool. You're all chasing the Iron Heart. You're trying to save humanity. We've heard this story before, right? The end of the world is coming, blah, blah, blah. But there is something there. There's an element to the story where it did hook me. It has me interested. I'm learning the characters. I'm starting to get in. Okay, what is your deal? And I think that's where, okay, now I'm starting to get invested in the story. And then it gets into the gameplay. Gunplay feels a little loose. I don't know how you guys feel, but it's solid. But I feel like it's a little floaty every now and then. But I'm still hitting on points where I'm enjoying the overall mechanic. I am wrecking dudes, and it starts off real easy. But then as you progress, I'm like, okay, because Kyle and I, the other night, we were playing. He goes, man, this is super simple. As a dude, I'm right there with you.
Especially
and then early on, it's right. They just want you to get comfortable, understand the mechanics of the game, understand the mechanics of your Descendant, and then move forward, right? So, we touched lightly on the story, but it's all about you being the Descendant, and then each Descendant, but there's like, what is there, 20 of them right now? I think it is when the game launched. But we'll get into more on the Descendant in a second. But basically, you're the Descendant who can see the. Oh, I want to call her. What is who's that?
The guide.
Yes, thank you. The guide who then basically guides you through the rest of the story. But there's a conflict going on, and then there's the bad guys you got to deal with, right? Keener is the overall arcing enemy. But to get the Vulgus, thank you, which is like the overall bad guys, is very Descendant heavy when it comes to the focus of destiny. very relatable, right? You get to Albion and it is, I'm like, man, I've seen this homeworld. It's called Destiny. It's like, what are you guys doing? Like, I get you're pulling inspiration, but you're like pulling a mechanic along with it, right? Again, free to play makes a big difference, right? At the time, Destiny wasn't. Destiny is now. So to get into the game, to get in with everybody, it's super easy to get into. Learn the mechanics of your Descendant, but there's something that is grinding my gears, and I think yours as well for both of you guys. Corey, take it.
Microtransactions, guys. I mean,
horrible.
we
Absolutely horrible.
We saw the player base shoot up massively on Steam once this game released. I mean, I think it was almost up to 300,000 concurrent players at a time. Like, this game was getting noticed. People were excited to jump in because it's free to play. I mean, even if you just saw a preview or a trailer of this game, you'd go, hey, for free, why not check this out? It looks cool. And it is cool. And that's why we gave it an 8, all of us. We all felt the same way about this game. We've had a fun time. But then when you go into the menus, guys, there's a shop side, and you get into that tab, and then there's about 40 other tabs to go through with all things that we can purchase for this game. And I can appreciate the amount of content that is in this shop. There's a lot of really cool looking stuff. Gun skins, Descendant skins, all this kinds of stuff, all these different types of currencies you can purchase, but at the same time, it all costs money, guys. There's a battle pass element here, which we expected to see with a free-to-play game. It's the usual $15-ish for the battle pass, but the problem is, guys, everybody else's battle pass lets you get enough currency to get the next battle pass. They do not have that here. They are going to require you to purchase credits. I can't remember the exact credit that they called the one that you pay for. Caliber, thank you. Yeah, Caliber. And they even had issues with people getting their Caliber on the first couple of days. That seems to have worked out the kinks there. And they've apologized, and they've given people some stuff for the inconvenience of it all, which I can appreciate. But again, guys, these microtransactions are wild. There is so much stuff to purchase. And the thing that kills me is if I want to play with another Descendant or a package of Descendants, it's going to cost me my hard-earned dollars. And I don't think that's fair. I mean, for me, it was just a pain in the butt to look at that and see that you want me to spend $30 just for another character. And that was really tough for me.
You can grind the characters out.
You can. So you can.
But, it's a grind.
Yes.
And then they set up certain missions, right, where you get the final piece that you need to get in order to... It's like a boss fight, more or less, that allows you to grab the next Descendant. You're never guaranteed that will drop in order for you to get that Descendant, right? So you could be doing that same boss fight over and over and over.
And that's what issues I had doing those little missions was you go to the blue flags. So I pick it there, if it's a transmitter, and I move on to the next one. Then to get to the last one, I didn't know where to go. And ended up redoing them again because I found the UI wasn't very clear, and with all the upgrades as well, all the enhancements, it wasn't just an upgrade. It's enhanced this, and it's like it's kind of put me off a little bit.
That's
and fair. I think that's probably why I sort of marked it an 8 when I did, is because things like this I lose interest because it becomes overwhelming, and changing your weapons on missions as well was not straightforward. I like to pull up my inventory as my character and swap and reload my weapons or dismantle stuff, but you can only do that in certain areas. I found for me, unless I'm missing something.
If you just hold the right trigger. So I'm playing on Xbox. Steve, you're on PlayStation. Corey, you're on Xbox, right? So if you hold the right trigger, if you mark everything as junk and then you hold the right trigger, you'll dismantle it right there. So I wrapped up a boss fight. I'm like, I can't pick up the items. I got a little bit of time left because there's a counter. So I was able to mark, boom, boom, dismantle, get the new stuff. Like that's what I mean. Like I'm now at a point where I'm just wrecking things. Yeah. I'm really at the end of the day enjoying it. But those microtransactions are absolutely horrible. They are garbage to the point where some of these things. So if you want to purchase a Descendant package that comes with a cool skin, this, that, and the other, it's $70. I'm like, I could go buy another game.
Yeah.
Right?
That's the problem.
That's where it gets me. I can go buy a whole other game. I get you want to keep me in, but for $70, when I'm about to change that skin, probably next week, why am I going to spend $70 on a skin? Yeah. You want to put it in there for $20? Yo, I'm in. $20? Dude, I do it all the time. Siege gets me. $20, elite skins, right? So if you rank up high enough and you finish off in Siege, I don't know if anybody knows, but you get a cool animation that if you have the elite skin. I sometimes am able to pull that off, so I get this cool animation. You do that here with the First Descendant for $20, man, I'll gladly give you my money. But when you want me to pay a full price game to play a free to play game, I have a hard time justifying that. If you want to go in for now, granted, you can get other skins too for just a couple bucks. So there are other things, right? Yeah. There are other ways to go in and purchase stuff. But it really comes down to the microtransactions really kind of nitpicking away at you to make sure that you pay for stuff in the skin. To change the color of your base Descendant, you can't. You cannot change it. It was in the closed betas. It was in the alpha build. You could go in and change it. So I'm kind of going in. I'm looking and I'm looking and I'm looking. I'm going, where do I change my skin? Because I'm now, with the battle pass, unlocked some of these new colors. Can't change my skin. I've unlocked a battle pass with a color that I can't change. It is useless. It's so infuriating if you haven't clued, right? I'm baffled. So now I gotta wait, grind out Viessa all the way to the end where I can get her assassin outfit, and then I can put in her skin.
I'm like,
I'm not doing this, right? Like I'm frustrated and I'm enjoying the game, right? Like
you know what I will say, the redeeming thing here is that Drew, you and I got that hour playthrough at Summer Game Fest, and they kind of let us know that we're going to be seeing a lot of content updates, especially before the end of the year here. So now that I had that information, came into the game now, see what we're getting offered to us now, I'm wondering how much of these new DLCs are going to be things I'm going to have to probably purchase to a degree, right? I'm sure there's going to be things that are added that are going to be free and all that kind of stuff. And it really did look like they had a great roadmap laid out for this game. That's the part that I think is going to keep me at least interested enough in this game to, even if I'm not playing it as regularly as some others, is going to keep me wanting to come back and taking a look and seeing what's changing in First Descendant. I mean, it's a free-to-play game. You have really nothing to lose by downloading the game and checking it out. Like you said, Drew, you don't have to pay for anything if you don't want to. They've just given us so many options that it really makes it seem like they want you to buy something, right? I mean, you know, and if you're having a good time, I get why people want to pay for things and enhance their experiences when they're playing these types of games. But when the menu system, like you said, Steve, is already kind of not a mess. It's laid out pretty well, but it takes a bit of time to get used to. And then you go into the store tab, and it's more complicated than every other menu in the game because there's so many tabs to look at and all different kinds of things to unlock that it does pull you out of the experience a little bit. And it finds me to just getting out of the menu. What can I just go do instead of looking at the menus right now, right? And this game just throws a lot at you at the beginning, but I think the more you play, the better it gets. Drew, like you said, the story unlocked a little bit more for you, and I think the more, Steve, you and I get into this one now, it will start to do the same thing. But again, it's gotta get those hooks into you, and there's some barriers along the way that are gonna make some people just want to just stop playing. So there's a fine line they're towing here. I think they've got the player base that they need and how much fun this game's been, but at the same time, I don't know. The future of this one is going to be really dependent on these future content updates. I really do think that it's going to be what keeps the players coming back and keeping them engaged and keeping them there. So I'm excited to see what the future of this one holds.
Steve, let me ask you this. How long do you think you're going to be playing this? Are you done as of now, or will you play it next week, or are you done in a month? Or
no, I'm going to keep jumping in. No, I'm going to keep picking at it. I don't, like I said, I'll put about 4 or 5 hours in, and for a game like this, I don't feel like I've done it justice. I feel like I want to play a bit more. As we talked about before, some games you get in 10 hours and then it opens up and it's like, and then it hooks you. I'm not giving up on the First Descendants, but like, you know, once I get the grasp of how certain things work, like the menus and that, then I'll probably have a more enjoyable experience.
That's fair. That's fair. How about you, Cory? Where you think your roadmap? What's that look like for you? A week? A day?
No.
A month?
I'm in this one for a bit. I think I've got I finished off some games I've been playing now for a while. Ghost of Tsushima, that one's coming up. But again, just certain games that have been taking a lot of my attention. Now that this one's out and there, we've been playing a lot of shooters lately, and my Call of Duty playing has kind of slowed down a little bit. I'm not playing as much X Defiant now, so I'm looking at playing something that's a little bit new and fresh. And First Descendant is giving me that right now, so I'm gonna keep playing through, see if this story can really grasp me, and if it does, I could see myself being in this one fairly regularly for probably till the next content update. But if I can't get my my claws dug into this story, I think it's gonna be more just like bouncing out maybe in a couple of weeks, 3-4 weeks, a month, and then seeing what's coming up in the future. I'm gonna keep tabs on this one no matter what I decide to do here in the future, but because I'm excited to see what they're gonna be releasing for this one.
Which is fair, right? So I picked up the battle pass, obviously, as you gathered from my rant. But for me, I'm in, right? Like, it does have its hooks into me. I'm enjoying the story. I'm enjoying hanging out with my brother and my buddy Kyle, and then away we go, right? And then as we're out there, we're kind of doing our own thing, but the world is like alive, and there's other people within the world, so they'll just like join in with us, and away we go. And like, it's a ton of fun. It is an absolute blast to play. It is free to play, so at the end of the day, you don't have to do the microtransactions. I just find it really irritating when they want to charge you so much for some of these cosmetic things that I feel that they shouldn't at all, right? That's just maybe more of a personal thing than anything. But at the end of the day, the gunplay is cool. So it's just a little floaty. I wonder if they'll fine tune it for me or not. I don't know. Maybe I can fine tune it within the settings. I don't think so. I didn't really see anything. I looked. But at the end of the day, I think it's there. It is something new. If you're looking for a fresh looter shooter, you gotta check out the First Descendant.